Hello, everyone. Welcome to this news update for October 14th. I'm making sure I get the date right, 2020. I'm Xing off my calendar here. We're going to get into a lot of important news. We'll also talk about the weather here in New York because we officially got our statement from the NWS, and I forgot to look up the California wildfire updates, so I will pull that up as we go along here. So move that. That's better. All right. So um, we're gonna get into a couple of important stories. Um, uh, the economy is still in a very bad shape right now. There are some people, close-minded individuals on the South Shore, and that's what I'm gonna call them. They're acting like that political cartoon. Everything is fine, but not for everyone, it seems, and they just want to be in their own little closed world. And as I'm recording this at 12:49, at least the good news is they are waking up and realizing it's time to sell your stocks. So keep selling until the stimulus comes. That's my message. Because politics as usual. We still don't know if the MTA is going to file for Chapter 11. I keep hearing that there may be an announcement in November about that. I hope not, because that's the way it seems that this money doesn't come in the time it was supposed to. So I don't want to do that right now. I want to get into um, news about the economy. That's what we want to talk about. And I also want to get into how the media is not even covering the plastic bag ban resuming on Monday. Because Cuomo is getting his way again, it seems. I mean, yeah, I thought he did a good job handling the virus. The only negative was the nursing homes. But, you know, you have to do this now during a pandemic, Cuomo. Cannot wait until next year at least, so I'll get into that. But a lot we'll get into. So let's get into some news about the economy. We're going to focus on Williston Park because Williston Park is in a lot of trouble right now, it seems. The media, they don't want to talk about the real issue during this pandemic, and that is the economy. They were a little bit focused on it back in March and April, the national media, but even the local media. But now it seems they're targeting the Hasidic Jewish population because they're not obeying the law, which they don't. We'll get into that. But focusing on Williston Park, they're in a lot of trouble. A lot of places are closing. Hildebrand's is supposed to close in December. Well, a long time. Ice cream soda shop that's been around for almost 100 years. The good news is the landlords cannot evict Hildebrand's right now. So a landlord bought them out, but we do not know if somebody asked this question. Let's see if they actually answered it. Okay, that is not an option. Okay, so maybe they can move to the South Shore. I mean, there's a possibility. There's real estate down there, but that's where everything's being invested into. The economy in New York in the 20s, right? That's what it seems it's going to look like. So that's what they know right now. They'll be sure to keep us updated as we go along here. Okay, do apologize. That's one of my fans commenting. Let's get into the sad news about TRs. I found out from PinePowerLI, and we'll get into some of his videos because I'm gonna mute them to avoid copyright and DMCA because that's the last thing we need on this channel. I already got into enough trouble with Richard Roberts, but let's get into this sad news. TRs has been sold. The local media didn't cover this when they were supposed to back in August or September. Shame on News 12. They could have done a story about this, but you know what News 12 is. They love catering to the closed-minded individual on the South Shore. So, I am just completely stunned about this news. It seems now the only Mid-Island town that's destined to stay well is Garden City. Garden City may be the only quality Mid-Island town we have left, because New Hyde Park is heading in a bad direction. Yes, I'm glad we got the bridge done at New Hyde Park Road, but New Hyde Park still has problems. We still got homeless hanging around. Same with Mineola, same in Hicksville, and I'm very worried that the influx of homeless is going to end up in Williston Park, and at the moment, I would give Williston Park a question mark. Unlike Mineola and unlike Hicksville, where compared to the lesser of the two evils, Mineola is the lesser of the two evils right now. I know there's other issues in Mineola, I get that, but Hicksville is 10 times worse right now. I mean, there's, I don't know if Cal the Pizza's still going to stay open. I hope they do, because if they close, then that means what's going on. They're just going to focus on their Massapequa location. And, I'm very worried the mall could go under. Commons could just fall flat. I mean, there are people going in, which is a good sign. And I certainly hope the mall stays open, because then I have no accessible Buffalo Wild Wings in Long Island. And even if I wanted to go to Valley Stream, it'd be a longer walk to get to Green Acres. And surprisingly, even though Valley Stream had a bad rep a couple years ago, people are actually moving into Valley Stream, which is surprising. But you know what's going to happen to Valley Stream. You don't need to get into that. But sad to see TR's is gone. Hildebrandt is folding flat too. And sooner or later, and I got a bad feeling, the Williston Park Diner could be next. I hope I'm wrong. But I really hope the Williston Park Diner stays open, because they have a really good grilled chicken sandwich. They even have a good black and white not black and white, M&M cookie I've gotten from them over the years. And, I hope they're not next, because I'll show you Pine Power's video in just a second. So again, we're going to mute it. It's Pine Power. I'm sorry if I'm using your videos for an example, but I want to show you how alarming this is. Let's see if we can find it. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. This is the part where he was walking by TR's. Right around here. So you can see what's going on here. You can see what's going on here. Look how dead Hillside Avenue is. This is Hillside Avenue. And I'm glad we complained. Again, me and Pine Power had reached out to the Department of Transportation privately off camera. And we got the job done. Hillside's going to get repaved. That's excellent news. But at what cost when the economy's pretty much falling flat in New York State? Because Cuomo's tyranny is just... you know how Cuomo is. You know how Cuomo is. But my mayor is 10 times worse. De Blasio. But let's just see if we can go by... I'm trying to see where he walked by Hildebrandt's. I don't think I could find it at the moment. But what was alarming is seeing IHOP closed at 9 o'clock at night. You would think people would want to be dining in. But that's not the case. By the way, if you do get the chance to go to Hildebrandt's before they close, the sign was out, which is sad. But look, they put their Halloween decorations out, which is beautiful. It may be the last time they get to do that. So now we're going to go by the Williston Park Diner virtually. And as you're going to see here, this is very scary. This is very alarming that nobody was even in the parking lot. No cars were even in there. The diner looked like it was open, which... surprising. You would think that at 50% capacity indoors, they would be doing well. Surprisingly, that's not the case. Look at this. Nobody was even dining in. You know, I get this was a Tuesday night, but only one customer went in for takeout. I mean, that is just completely scary to think that this is Williston Park right now. That this is the direction that the middle of the island's going into. And, COVID-19, they claim it's the silent killer of the body, God forbid. But now COVID-19 is the silent killer of the economy. Because this is worse than 2008. This is worse than the Great Depression. I mean, those were petty situations compared to what we're dealing with now. Because the economy is just dead. D-E-A-D. Unless, again, you go to those South Shore towns, and I'll show you the video. Now look at this. This is Pine Power crossing Hillside Avenue where it's normally supposed to be busy. You think this is normal on a Tuesday night? No. And then here we go to IHOP. This is IHOP. Already closed at 9 o'clock at night. You think this is normal? No, it's not. And, Jericho Turnpike, I don't even want to get into that. That was abandoned too, in Mineola. So, we know what's going on here. We know if you go to Limbrook, Limbrook's going to be busy. They love their precious Limbrook. And then, not to mention, I'll put this in the description. You can watch this later on if I don't get a DMCA complaint. But look at this. Newstall doesn't even mention that a deceased body was found in Center Reach. There was one mention of it, but it was only for 30 seconds. Why aren't I surprised? So now we're going to watch this video. I'll put it on mute. So here we go. This was Belmore back in September. Look how busy Belmore is. Look how busy Belmore is. That's even a Cadillac Fleetwood, I think. Look how busy Rockville Center is. Full of life. People are enjoying themselves because you know what it is. If you're not in finance, you're not going to make it down there. You're not any of these closed-minded individuals. This is what happens. Yep, you have to be on the South Shore just to get the good life. And look how busy this place is. And then here's Limbrook. Look at this. You think you see this in the middle of the island? Wait until you see what happens next. Because it's two worlds apart. Coming up next. And again, look how busy this is. Just making one last point before we even see the Mineola part. And there's Vinny's. Yep, Vinny's in Limbrook. Alright, here's New High Park. Look how sad this is. And then here's Mineola. Yep. Because you know what it is. It's Wall Street that's taking over this state. And you have our president that says, oh, it's China's fault. It should have never happened. Well, in that sense, yeah. But also, it's Italy's fault too. Not that many people realize that. You see, people just want to put that on the back burner. But in all reality, we know what happened here. Alright? We knew back in February it was spreading in Italy. And all Trump did was just ban the travel from China. What did that do? It didn't do anything. It didn't do anything. So, Trump should have just banned the travel from the EU in February. And then maybe none of this would have ever happened. Maybe it would have been like Ebola. It would have been a few isolated cases. They would have had it under control maybe. See, here's the thing. If Obama knew it was in Italy, Obama would have stopped travel from the EU. He would have. He would have at least. Because at least Obama knew how to handle an emergency. So I'll give the guy credit when credit's due. Sometimes I like to bash people for, good reasons, but I say, there have been crises that Obama had to handle. Maybe things would have been different. I don't know. I'm not the one that just assumes things are going to get better. I'm not the one that just, thinks that everything's going to be fine, like these closed-minded individuals think. That's the problem. And I just wish that people would wake up and smell the roses here. Okay? And, I'm still mad that Mr. Trump didn't invoke the Defense Production Act when he was supposed to in March. You really have to be ashamed of yourself if you really think that 4 more years of Trump is going to solve our problems. No, it won't. No, it won't. Because, God forbid we have another health crisis. You think he's ready to handle it again? We saw the flaws of Trump. It's quite obvious what's going on here. And then I have to find out today that AMC might close. Yeah, AMC might close for good. So let's get into this article. Okay, so AMC announced that things might be looking bad, and the issue is Disney is already putting animated film Soul onto Disney Plus on Christmas. So what's going to happen is my message to Netflix is just this: please make a yearly subscription plan. I don't know why you don't have that when Hulu even has one, but you have to pay for the ads. Disney Plus even has a year. Even HBO Max has one. So Netflix needs to restructure their business model, just saying. But, the movie theaters are doomed. We don't even know if Wonder Woman 84 is going to still be playing. In fact, have they moved Wonder Woman 84 again? Because I'll randomly check, because I don't know what's going on with my Wi-Fi again. This is the problem with Spectrum. It randomly just goes out on me when I need to search for something. Lovely. Like I said, this doesn't even happen to me in Maryland. It doesn't happen to me in Maryland. Yep, there we go. My internet went out again. Lovely. But I did see this article earlier, and it said that Cuomo may be the fate of the movie theaters reopening. Oh, okay, there we go. So let's just see when Wonder Woman 84 is supposed to come out. Let's just find out. I'm just trying to see if it says the new release date. Yeah, IMDb still says Christmas. But again, we don't know if they're going to reopen the movie theaters. So, it says right here, and look at this picture. Theaters open safely in 48 states. Why not New York? Okay, so this is very alarming to think that 48 other states, including Delaware, including Maryland, have reopened their movie theaters, but not New York. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Other parts of the country may get to see Wonder Woman 84 on Christmas, but maybe not New York. Mr. Cuomo, this is on you. All right? You're going to kill the movie theater industry if you do not reopen the movie theaters in December. So, the MPA needs to beg Andrew Cuomo to reopen the movie theaters in New York, because this is ridiculous. Other parts of the country got to see Tenet. Even Jersey and Connecticut got to see Tenet. So, exactly. Look at this. One person says Richard Lorielli It's been a constant battle of trying to make the case. Without New York and LA being open, you're hurting the industry, not just here in the country, but internationally. Exactly. Because, again, people do not realize that New York is still the economic engine of the country. All right? If New York goes down, then America goes down. So I don't want to hear any excuses from people who are defending Trump and the stimulus saying, oh, we don't need the money. We don't need the money to give the MTA or any other industry right now. Of course you do. Of course you do. Exactly. One person says, Cuomo did a lot right when it came to getting the virus under control, but he gave movie theaters a raw deal. So, obviously, Mr. Cuomo just wants the movie theater industry to die. And we have a low infection rate. You know, what's alarming is right now, and I'm looking at this correctly, look at this. Look at this map. There are only 2 states in the union that do not have movie theaters open. California, for an example, is open. Look at this. Social distancing required. Montana's getting a little bit out of hand. Why do they have a big theater capacity limit? But overall, look at the entire country right now. Look at the USA. You tell me that why is New York and New Mexico closed? So, once again, Cuomo is just being a tyrant. You know what's going on here. It's October. The movie theaters should have already been reopened by now. Once again, we have a low rate of infection. We've reopened restaurants. We've reopened other activities. The virus has dramatically not spread. Yeah, there are clusters. And, you know, we can do what we're doing now. The experiment's working. You know, we're taking care of the clusters. Cuomo's telling us, look, this neighborhood has a problem. We will get involved. We will shut things down for 2 weeks. And if we can do it again, we will reopen. Hopefully, New York City will go back to 50% indoor on November 1st. Hoping it will happen. But it just proves the point that Cuomo was a hypocrite. If he's going to allow 50% indoor dining on November 1st, potentially, why can't we reopen the movie theaters, Mr. Cuomo? DreamWorks is supposed to release a major theatrical film around Thanksgiving. So, Andrew Cuomo, this is my message to you. I'm sorry for banging my table because I'm so mad right now at him. If we get the cluster under control by the end of the month, you need to reopen the movie theaters on the following date. And that date is... I'll make sure I get this right because, again, subject to change because Cuomo's being a tyrant. November 20th. So you need to reopen the movie theaters on Friday, November 20th. And, more importantly, to all the theaters in New York that did not get to show Tenet, you need to show Tenet. The movies make a whole lot more money. Same in New Mexico, whoever that is. I care less about New Mexico. But Cuomo is going to kill the theater industry. Mr. Cuomo, you have one job to do right now, and make sure that movie theaters can open on Friday, November 20th, unless DreamWorks decides to change the release date of Croods. So, there you have it. Also mentioned that Regal closed as well. So, Regal, Times Square, also getting impacted. So, Cuomo is just, again, abusing his power. The other states have safely reopened. I don't know why New York can't. Now, let's get into what the media should be covering, and that's this. So, brief little thing here. You look at this, and it says that the plastic bag ban will start on Monday. So, you know what happened? There was lawsuits. So, the law is going to require to bring reusable bags, buy a reusable bag. or pay a 5-cent fee for a paper bag. So, again, Cuomo's being a tyrant. You know what's going on here. He's abusing his power. You know, I still think he is abusing his power in a sense. You know, the one thing I do agree with him on is the cluster control. If you're going to shut down businesses for a couple weeks, okay, fine. I get it. I'm not upset about that. But what I am upset about is the plastic bag, and I'm upset that Cuomo, it's just keeping the movie theaters hostage. So, Cuomo, you still are a tyrant. And now I'll mention that News 12, New York City 1 News, New York 1. Look at this. The Central Park Karen is back in the headlines. Nobody really cares about that. You know, who really cares about that right now, you know? But what's sad about, you know, New York 1, and I'll get into this. Let's get into the headlines. Let's see if they bring up a very important news story about what happened in Brooklyn. So, what happened in Brooklyn, you may be wondering? Well, the Hasidic Jews are, once again, acting like everything is fine. They are sending their kids to schools in the red zone where they're not supposed to. So, you know, shame, 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 you know? I mean, look at this. You think this is acceptable? I'm just trying to see if it'll come up, the pictures. Here it comes. Yeah, here come the pictures. I do apologize because I'm on my main network. I mean, look at this. Not one mention of it. Maybe it was from yesterday. I'll have to look. Look at more. See if anything else comes up. A little more. Look at this. Cuomo's book. I mean, who cares about Cuomo's book? Who cares about Cuomo's book? Who cares? And then they got this. The Napoli warns. Yeah, I do care about the iPhone 12, but we're not going to get into that. That's a separate video I'm going to do later on in the week. So, not one mention of what happened in Brooklyn. Not one mention on New York One's website. So, let's get into this, because I'm not even going to play the video. As officials push to lower the number of COVID-19 cases in New York City's hot zone, enforcement concerns continue. There have been several incidents of people blatantly not following the restrictions in those red zones, and there is fear about what could mean as work continues to curb the infection rate. Tuesday night in Bensonhurst, a crowd was spotted leaving what appeared to be a large indoor gathering. Many people were seen on camera not wearing masks. And on the same day, the mayor praised efforts to suppress the coronavirus. WABC TV found that hundreds of young children being dismissed from a school. They were herded on the buses Tuesday afternoon attending a yeshiva. That's what they call it in Hebrew. They call it a yeshiva. So they were going on to overcrowded school buses. Some were wearing masks and some were not. So they were in Midwood, Brooklyn, attending the Bryant Park school. I do apologize about that. But if we can put the video on. Let's see if it'll even load up. So I'll put it on mute. Yeah, it's a brief ad, but, you know, the building is inside the state's red zone and should have been closed starting last week. This is happening as the mayor says the infection rates do appear to be leveling off after the city tested and traced corpses flooded Brooklyn. So, obviously that. Oh, not to mention, shame on New York 1. I'm first finding out about this story in Midtown. Basement fire near Bryant Park. New York 1's not going to cover that. No. So, you know what New York 1 is catering to? They're catering to that certain yuppie demographic in Brooklyn and Manhattan. You know what they're catering to. You know what they're catering to. So, they're not going to care that in Brooklyn, this happened. This is probably only going to be on, you know, Channel 7. But you think this is acceptable? Look at those kids getting on an overcrowded bus. That's not acceptable. The school should be closed. You know, they were supposed to be closed last week. Shame on them. You know? Alright, let's get into this. So, there was a fire near Bryant Park. So, wow. It said it happened right by 45th Street. Oh no, I hope it didn't happen by Book Off. Alright, so what, they had it under control. Oh no! I think this is my Book Off. Yeah, look at this. I know that Preet very well. Preet's across the street. Because Two Bros is on 46th. So we'll try to get the video of the incident in just a second. So thankfully nobody was killed. That's the good news. But, you know, New York 1, shame on you for not covering this. You know, shame on you. This was a major fire in Midtown. And you didn't even have an article on the website. Alright, let's see if this comes up, the video. Yeah, here it is. Oh boy, yeah. See, because 45th Street goes west. So, obviously the traffic was a mess, probably heading over to Avenue of the Americas. But, yeah, I recognize this building. It's right by Book Off. And about at least 2 or 3 blocks away from Rockefeller Plaza. So, sad to see that this happened in Manhattan. But, I just want to confirm what time they contained the fire. Okay, so one person was hospitalized. The others were treated at the scene. Okay. Let me just see. Okay, good. So the fire was contained at 10:30 this morning. That's the good news. So, I want to transition into the weather, then we'll get to the election news, I guess. So, let's get to your news about the wildfires in California. So, I just want to see if the SOG has been contained. I believe the SOG has been contained, but I'm not too sure at the moment. Alright, so this is perfect news. I can happily report that the SOG fire has been contained. That is excellent news. Our last update on the glass was 97%. I'll check a look and see if anything else has happened in the past couple of hours. Okay. August Complex 76% contained. So that's good news on that end. 11,000 firefighters continue to battle 13 major and 7 other large wildfire. Of course, bad news in Fresno. The Creek Fire is still at 55%, so that's going to take a while to contain. But, that's good news. The Glass Fire is almost contained. I am very happy to hear this news that Glass Fire, as of yesterday, is almost contained. So it sounds like maybe later today or probably by the end of the week we'll know more info about it. So that's good news. Quickly going to the tropics. Our last update from this morning, and I'll try to refresh this as we go along here. At the moment, I do see at 1:44 p.m. The good news is this is the only storm we know that is out, but it's only 10%, so that's good news. Now we'll get to our public information statements. I don't really want to go into... should I go into Tuesday? No, I want to go to Monday first. You can find Monday. Yeah, so here are the wind gusts from the other week, so we don't want to go to that. Not that one. I do apologize, folks. Let me just get to it. So we do have our rainfall totals. Let's see who got the most rain. Possibly Nassau may have had the highest. No, my bad. Washington Heights, almost 2 inches. Queens, Belrose had 1.3 inches of rain. So I don't want to get into the rainfall that much. Let me see if I can find the latest statement from 8:46 this morning. Okay. So Woodbury almost had 2 inches. Very alarming on that end. Check Queens. Wow, Howard Beach almost had 2 inches of rain. All right, let's get to the forecast. Don't want to get into GFS and NAM models because that would be confusing. So I would suggest today and tomorrow try to get outside if you can. I know I'm going to definitely try to head out after I'm done recording this because I want to take a look and see if the leaves are changing out there. Probably in a couple minutes after I'm done editing this video. But cause of concern, Friday into Friday night, there is a chance of rain. Best chance is Friday night for rainfall. We're looking at 1 to 2 inches of rain on Friday night. The good news is clouds should clear out on Saturday. That's very good news. So we'll hopefully try to salvage the weekend. And then we get to possibly experience the October chill, hopefully within a week. Because kind of would feel abnormal if the high on Halloween wasn't in the 50s. Okay, I don't want to go on this website. I want to focus... well, let me see what it says nationally right now. And then we'll go to the last website. So, polling right now in the election, Biden is up 52 points. So, he's up by 11 points right now. Almost 11 points. Biden, 10.5. Biden, 52.4. Trump, 41.9. Remember, we are less than 3 weeks away from the election. I didn't do a video yesterday because, obviously what was going on. One quick note, I will have Governor Carney's tape from yesterday, so my viewers in Delaware, I'm sorry. I will have the tape probably up later tonight of John Carney's weekly COVID briefing. So I'll just take a look at the approval rating. So obviously we know what's going on right now. President Trump's approval rating is down. In Congress, obviously, the disapproval rate is down because, again, we know what's going on with the stimulus. They're not negotiating in good faith. The direction of the country is wrong track because, again, the Democrats don't have control in that sense. So, if they did, the stimulus would have probably gotten done by now, and the MTA would have had its funding. All right, so... I want to focus on the latest polls. Do apologize. Let's get to today. So Biden is still leaning in North Carolina. One poll, a Republican biased one, gave Trump a 2-point lead in Florida. St. Pete polls. Never heard of this one. That one gives Biden the lead. So I'm not really going to get into the polls that much. But here we go again. Democrats may flip the House and Senate. So that needs to be monitored on the night of the election. And then President Trump approval, disapprove. So no surprise there. So yeah. One last thing I want to mention. I'm sure you are all aware of what's going on with the Amy Coney Barrett hearing. We're noticing that the Senate could approve her as soon as next week. So, obviously, that's going to have some controversy. But if I did want to see one thing And we don't know because anything goes in 2020. But if Amy Coney Barrett does get approved to the court, my message to the Supreme Court is please overturn the bail reform in New York because we don't need it. It's dangerous. There's too many criminals out in the street right now that shouldn't be on the street. This is not a red versus blue issue. This is a quality of life issue. I think Cuomo, again, abused his power. No sane person would ever come up with a dangerous bail reform law like New York has. So, even California doesn't have a dangerous reform law like this. Unless maybe it's similar. I don't know. But, yeah. So that's going to wrap it up. Just pray for our economy right now because the fate is going to rely on the stimulus. Not that many people realize that, but we need the stimulus. Otherwise, the economy is just going to fall flat in 2021. So it has to get done before the end of this year. Otherwise, any chance of an economic recovery in the first and second quarter of 2021 is going to be flat. So with that, thank you all very much for watching. Pray for our country right now because the economy is just going to keep falling flat. And, I pray for a better outcome. So thank you for watching.